Okay, so as I said, some of this might be on the test. Canada and the world, this is package 4.6. This is the reading that you guys were supposed to do, hand in these questions, so we're going to go through them quickly. Which event do you think was most important in advancing Canada's independence from Britain, and why did you choose that event? Yes.
So I chose the Imperial Conference in 1926, and because it's like when Canada became a self-governing country, so they kind of like do what they want about themselves, and also they got like full status, so like they weren't like this small kind of country anymore. They're kind of like same.
Okay, so you went back a little bit further in 1926, the conference. Good.
I chose the Charter of Rights and Freedoms by Pierre Trudeau because it caused Britain to cease to have any impact on Canadian Parliament.
So you're saying not until 1982.
Yes.
Okay.
That's like the final.
That's again, that's personal opinion. You're able to say that based on your personal opinion, as long as you can back it up. BJ?
I think I said Vimy Ridge for one of the battles in my actual submission.
Yep.
But because it showed that Canada can take care of themselves and like they have their military, so they don't need the protection of Great England.
Okay.
And,
See,
Great Britain.
see, this is another example. Two examples. One, which is Dante, who is not even looking at the 1920s, 1930s, which is what everybody else was doing. Dante is saying 1982, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. VJ is going back even further, going back to the Vimy Ridge. The first time that Canada is able to stand up for itself, show that, hey, we can do this ourselves. We don't need anybody else behind us. Forgot who it was that said that, but you're pretty much the only one who went back to World War I battles. Anybody else have something? Emma?
I would say the Treaty of Versailles, because that's when they like got us the upper table and that. You weren't allowed to sign, but it was like the beginning of saying Canada like.
Okay, so Treaty of Versailles. So back 1919, Canada gets its own table. We're able to say, hey, we're not going to sit in Britain's chair. We want our own chair. We're not sitting on mommy and daddy's lap. We're getting our own chair with our own name on it. Good. Anybody have anything else? How about the Halibut Treaty? The Halibut Treaty. What was the Halibut Treaty? Does anybody remember that point? Kian.
Wasn't it like the first like law or kind of thing that they like put out themselves that they didn't think no one else had any practice?
Okay, it was the first time that Canada had the ability or had the guts to stand up and say, we're signing this treaty. This is all based on Canada. This is our, our lands. Thank you, Britain, for your help, but we're going to do it ourselves. Dante, do you have something?
Yeah, it was with the fishing laws, I believe.
Yep.
The first one that wasn't overseen by a British official. Or was signed.
Well, it was overseen, but Canada's the first one, or it's the first time Canada signing their own name on the document. Canada and the States. How about this is kind of where Kian was going, and he said the peace accord, not the peace accords, the conference, 1926, I believe. The actual statute doesn't come true until 1931, Statute of Westminster. Do you think that that one might be a little bit more?
What's it called, sir?
The Statute of Westminster. That's down here, number 7. I'll get into that in a second. Okay, so just a couple other things that people were talking about. Just wanted to let the people at home know that those are definitely acceptable options as well. Okay, number 5. Why do you think Britain was willing to let Canada go on its own? Kian.
An advantage would be like, so number one, they don't have to care for them, but at the same time, they can still be like be their colony. Like they don't have to like fully support them. They can still like hold them on.
Okay, so we're not fully supporting them. We're not doing everything that they need to do, but at the same point, we can count on them. Yep. Dante?
I think that they let me be the last time that a nation wanted to separate, and they didn't let them with the American Revolution. They didn't want to repeat another war.
Okay, they didn't want another American Revolution. Definitely, that's a big part. Emma, you were.
I was going to say the same thing as they showed before at Vimy Ridge because if we didn't have it more than it was.
Okay, so why would Britain say, okay, that's showing us that Canada's.
Because it took down the Vimy Ridge with the other armies to do it.
So we proved ourselves to Britain. Is that what you're saying there?
Britain in the world, and also like America, we could probably just, okay, we're gonna fight for. They're gonna like, okay, yeah, we take them, we fought with them, leave.
Okay. Alex, did you have something out there?
Yeah, sort of to expand on
Dante.
Dante said, about sort of they were kind of like Britain was kind of understanding Canada was becoming it, and that they really couldn't keep them in.
Okay, so they're understanding it. Anybody else? Okay, one of the other things to think about, excuse me, what's going on in the rest of the world about this time? We had talked about this towards the end of World War One. Something big is happening on the world stage. I know Dante knows about this because he talked about it the other day. What's happening in Russia?
Oh,
Communism, but a little bit more. Emma?
Russian,
Russian Revolution, which was what?
Putin just got into office.
No, Putin is way in the future.
Uh,
Okay,
they just took down the Russian Empire and then just break the destroying Asia.
okay, they took down the Russian Empire, and when they were doing that, what did the Russians do? Dante.
They turned the country communist and pulled out of the war.
Okay, they turned the country communism, but they got rid of the kings. They got rid of the government heads. They said, we don't need the czar anymore. A little while later, same type of thing happens where Kaiser Wilhelm gets pulled out of office. We don't need a king here anymore. So Britain at this point is starting to say, maybe we should keep our heads down. I mean, the noise is hitting Britain as well. People saying, why do we need this monarchy? They were the ones that led us into this war. Maybe we should do something about this. So Canada starts, making noise, and they're saying, if we keep our heads down, we should be good. We don't want to get anybody upset and start the feelings. So kind of what Dante and Alex were saying there as well, with the idea of we've already gone through this once with the states, and like Emma was saying, we've gone through this with the states. We don't want to have a repeat again. What would be the advantages of Canada going on its own? Okay, I don't know if it was Hatim or Kian who mentioned it, but Dante?
They can't impose taxes on any anymore that are in Canada.
Yep, it was. That's an advantage for them.
Was an interest. Oh no, that's what I was, sorry. I thought you were talking about advantages for Canada.
Yeah, no, advantages for Britain to say yes, go on your own. Yep.
It wouldn't have to take care of Canada.
Wouldn't have to take care of Canada. Yeah, we don't have to hold your hand while you're crossing the street anymore. You're a big boy. Go ahead. So that's definitely a big part of it. Emma?
They wouldn't have to worry about like government because I remember like this was a while ago back in 1867 they could decide on parliament and everything. And they just wouldn't have to deal with like Canada's issues. If we have our own issues to deal with, go deal with your own.
Yep. So we've got our own issues to deal with right now. Go and deal with your own. So like I said, monarchy is starting to be threatened with the idea of a revolution at this point. Let Canada deal with their own problems. We're better off without them. But kind of going back to something that VJ said earlier about this was back the last section, and that was with the treaty when it's being signed. What happens then? We're taking a look at Canada is not allowed to sign. They're able to be there, or was it Hatima who said, I forget who said it. Canada is allowed to be there, but we're not signing the document. But now that we're our own country, we're able to sign the document. Same thing with Australia and New Zealand and India. If they all get their own independence, they're able to sign the document.
Also, Canada inspired everybody else to become independent.
It was all kind of at the same point. We all kind of said, okay, that's it. We're breaking off. But
Well, inspired by the other colonies.
yeah, we all kind of that was the conference, 1928.
Despite being nations of the British Empire, that was British Empire, we go independent now. I've searched up recently, but the British Empire still exists, but it's a defensive alliance rather than Britain ruling over a bunch of nations.
Okay, you're almost there. It's a defensive alliance. Britain is still kind of the head of this defensive alliance, but each country has its own vote. So if Britain is going to the table and saying, hey, we want this to happen, they can kind of call on Canada, who's still friendly with them, not like the States, who is not friendly with them, and say, vote our way. And we're probably going to do that because, that's the way mom and dad are voting. We're going to vote the same way. And Australia would do it, and New Zealand would do it, and everybody else. So now England doesn't just have their own vote, they could also get, and remember, Canada has a seat at the United Nations, they could get Canada to kind of go along with them. It's kind of a gamble. It's not guaranteed that we're going to vote with them. We found that out in Turkey when Britain said we want more warships, and we said, good for you, we're not doing it. But chances are we will be backing them up. So, strengthen numbers that way too. So yeah, I think we got pretty much everything covered there. Anybody have anything to add? Questions? Good. 1867 is usually considered Canada's birth date. Based on the chapter, it could be argued that the Statute of Westminster in 1931 marks Canada's real birth date as an independent nation. Do you agree or disagree? If you get two choices, 1867, 1931. Kian.
I thought 1867 was ridiculous. Your firstborn, you get your name, so like I think that's when they kind of became their own independent person. But then like 1931, they became like adult, kind of. They could like mature, they could make their own decisions. That makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. You're using the same analogy I used yesterday, which makes me think that you were listening in class yesterday. Yep.
So the thing I find is that like 1867 is not only like the initial foundation of Canada, it's also the initial foundation of modern Italy.
Okay, we're not getting into Italy and stuff. We're talking about Canada. Okay, so 1867, Canada is born. 31, that's when we said we're moving out of the house, we're going on our own. So consider it the birthday of Canada? Yes, 1867. Consider the birthday of Canada 1931? No, but that's when we get our independence. So yeah, that's kind of the same idea that I went. And okay, this one might be on a test too. Review the information in the chapter. What do you think was the most important development of the 1920s in the following areas? Politics, the economy, and social life. Discuss your choice with a classmate. We're not going to do that in class right now, but again, this one might show up on the test. Come up with an important development in each of these three areas and why you think it's important. Yep.
So on the test, you can discuss with the classmate.
Sorry? Okay. Yeah, no. So we're not going to get into that right now, but keeping this one in mind for the test, come up with a couple of ideas as to what the following areas, political thing that's important to Canada or the world, the economy, and in social life. Okay. Going to stop that one.